right, let's get it. What's going on, y'all? It's your host, Jairus Isabel of Wiseman Avenue. Y'all, I'm back with another one today. And y'all, we got a pastor here with us today, y'all. We got a pastor here with us today. And I'm excited to see how this is gonna go, and I hope y'all really enjoy what's finna come. And without further ado, I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Um, Good afternoon. I'm so glad to talk to y'all through the camera. My name is Dr. Leroy Davenport from Greenville, Mississippi. So I'm a Delta boy, born and raised in Mississippi, and around the world they call me Mississippi. And that's because I don't hide where I'm from. A quote that I live by is that I can do all things through Christ Jesus, who gives me strength, and that's Philippians 4:13. It's something we quote all the time, but the reason I live by that quote is because before Paul gets to verse 13. He basically says this in a nutshell. He says that when I had nothing, I learned to be with Christ. When I had much, I learned to be with Christ. And as a result, he's saying that now I've learned how to live through every angle of life. And I truly know without a doubt that I can do all things through Christ Jesus, who gives me strength.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Dad, since you already answered one of the 4 block cues,
Yeah.
we're going to get into the 3 y'all. Well, you already told them where you're from,
Yeah.
so we're going to get into the next 2. What's album or artist you kind of got on repeat right now?
Yeah. Right now, I'm with Maverick City Way.
Okay.
And that's the album I've been listening to. And the reason is growing up, I was a church musician.
Mm-hmm.
So before pastoring, I was a minister of music, and I played for predominantly rural churches. So it was like strictly gospel, hymns, and I love my gospel. I love my hymns, and they can get us going, but they don't really teach you how to worship. And so when Kirk Franklin came out with the Maverick City Tour, I had no idea who Maverick City was. When he came out with the Maverick City Tour, I began to listen to him. It really got me in my house where I could just get into a quiet place, turn some music on, and worship. And it helped me to begin to diversify who I listen to with genre music.
See, when I first heard of Maverick City, it was last year,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know that was by Kirk Franklin.
Yeah.
And my friends always were like, we need to go to a Maverick City concert. And I'm like, who is this?
Yeah. And so Kirk Franklin, he joined together for the collaboration for the concert, but they had their own group. And what I like about them most is that it's a diverse group. You're gonna see some whites, some Hispanics, some blacks, but they're all singing to really just worship.
That's good. And then the question, my favorite question, and probably everybody's favorite question, it's the neighborhood message.
Yeah, so a neighborhood message for me is go with God and grow with God. And that sounds simple, but simple is always best. And the reason is a lot of times when it comes to like trying to figure out life, figuring out our next move, we were literally like wreck our brains to try to figure out our next move. But then at the same time, we quote scripture like Jeremiah 29:11, say God knows the thoughts and the plans that he thinks towards me. So if God has a plan on this side, why am I trying to think of my own plan on this side? And so we have to learn how to wait on God, but also seek God for guidance and ask God to reveal his plan and not get ahead of God. Sometimes we're so anxious to get to the next step in life that we'll get ahead of God, and God's like saying, whoa, slow down. I'm trying to steer you over here. And if you just be patient, I can save you some headache and heartbreak. A lot of the stuff we go through life is sometimes self-inflicted because we just get so anxious and we rush. And so my neighborhood message is go with God, but also grow with God. So grow through the things that God is allowing you to experience, because all of that is shaping you, building you up for the person that he's called you to be and who he's allowing you to become to be.
I like that. Yeah. I do, especially as for us younger people, as we're looking up to y'all for guidance.
Yeah.
I feel like it's harder for us to be patient just for the simple matter of the fact is like we are trying to figure life out. And sometimes going to somebody for guidance can sometimes feel like a headache because it's like we know what to do, but it's like going through it, like going through the whole process of the struggle, the character development, the molding. It's like it's hard, it hurts, it don't feel good. And then it's like you go talk to God about it, and it's like you ask him to walk with you and instill that, and you want to keep that faith. It can be determined because you might feel like, man, it's nothing's working, nothing clicking, but it's like he got some at the end waiting for you, or maybe the next day something might be waiting for you.
Yeah.
You just don't realize it, but just because the work you're doing is actually propelling you for something better.
That's right.
But we don't see it.
That's right. We don't see it, and we don't showcase it enough. So something that my generation and many generations before me don't do well is tell our journey. So a lot of people see the end result. So we saw the end result of Kobe Bryant. We see the end result. We see the end result of Michael Jordan because he's still living. We see a lot of the artists in the world. But we don't know the journey that allowed them to become who they are or who they were. And so with that, and we got this whole social media platform, and we only show our good moments. So we'll show when we bought the house. We're not going to show the many times we got rejected from the credit bank to buy the house. We'll show the car, but we ain't gonna show that first car or the car we weren't so proud of. We'll show that passing grade, that high GPA, but we ain't gonna show the low one. So society and the era and the culture of social media has taught us to show only these what we consider to be these best moments. That's why I go back to that quote: "I can do all things Christ Jesus will give me strength." Because what it teaches us through Paul is that we have to learn how to appreciate the small moments and the big moments, and we can't despise small beginnings. We have to celebrate a small win just like we celebrate a championship.
Yeah.
And so we have to do a better job of just showcasing the whole journey. They don't mean tell all your business, but there are people watching us. We need to let people know that, hey, through grit, grinding, hard work, I got to where I am.
I think that's the part that nobody want to show though.
Yeah.
Because you got it. That's you being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And everybody always talk about being authentic, being real, but it hits different when you actually have to showcase and show people you're human.
Yeah.
And you can get down to that level where you can touch the dirt. And I think nobody want to get down on that level because if you might feel like it gives a perception to others that maybe I can just, if they get down in the level, then they're beneath me.
Yeah.
Since we done built us, like you said, the social media platforms, we didn't showcase the good. You don't put yourself at a high ceiling. Now people only gonna look at you at a certain way, and now you open up, you show how things are not what you portrayed to be this whole time.
Yeah.
Like it took you a while to get to where you are, but you only show in a short amount of time what you have.
Yeah.
And it's gonna now you trying to revert back to showing your humble beginnings. People are not gonna believe it. They gonna think it's
that's right. That's right. And not only I want to push on that just a little bit. Not only do we put ourselves on this pedestal, this high ceiling, I like to argue that we put ourselves on this false ceiling because we ain't there.
Yeah.
We because social media make us feel like from one post that we've arrived. I mean, we get 2,000 likes and we're viral for one day. We thought we've done something, but can we keep that?
Yeah.
Do we have the capacity to maintain what it took to get the likes on that day? So that's one small factor of it. Another small factor is we have to realize that we haven't arrived yet, and it's very shallow thinking of us to think that this is the only place we want to arrive. So there's this false narrative that we can paint through social media, and we have to learn how to not live for the likes.
Yeah, the likes, the views.
Yeah. The likes, the views, the shares.
It's easy too to like get caught up in when you see 300 plus likes, 1.7 views, and then you get like 50 shares, and it's like you see, and it's like it make you feel like everybody just loves you.
Yeah.
And people are looking at you and they see what you're doing, but it's like, okay, you can't let that one post last. You can't let that stretch. And I done seen it, like people let one post stretch for weeks.
Yeah.
And that's like, oh yeah, man, I got 10K views, like, but you're not being consistent with the passion you had when you was trying to get that 10K view. Now you just you running out with that one. And it's like you can't. Nobody want to hear it no more. We trying to see what you're gonna do next.
That's right. That's right. And then I think we as content creators, we as people who post on social media, because not everybody's a content creator, right? We have to realize our aim, our target, and what we're wanting to do. And a lot of the time, most of us don't know.
I was having a talk with somebody the other day about content creation.
Yeah.
I think every day I have a talk about content creation, just because, like, though I have a podcast and I enjoy what I do,
Yeah.
and the intention I put out is nothing but genuine love to my audience and my guests. It's still hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Of
It's
course.
still hard. And I always tell anybody who wants my dad's I might call him my uncle. He wants to do his own pod, and he's buying all this equipment, and everybody wants to be Club Shay Shay.
Yeah.
Everybody want to be like Club Shay Shay, and everybody wants to just get on there and talk and run their mouth. And remember I was watching this reel from what Shannon Sharp had said one day. He was like, never judge a man from where they standing, because you don't know when they might fall or just how high or low they are.
Yeah.
And it's like we always see, like you said, like with especially content, people only post things that is attracting and engaging to the audience.
Yeah.
And we fail to realize people who are established already gonna have that media audience.
Of course. But the fact, well, the part that we're not realizing is they're gonna always have that audience because that audience was not built overnight.
Mm-mm.
So we see these stories and hear these stories about Jamie Foxx and hear these stories about Steve Harvey,
Cat
Williams, and Steve Harvey would tell you that he was about to give up and he was sleeping in his car and he had to call and listen to a voicemail through a payphone and borrow money to go to be able to get the gig for Apollo. And it was like all these stories about how they became who they were. And so we have to realize that we can't despise small beginners. But in the preacher world, some of my mentors would say it like this. They'll say that you can't be big when little's got you.
I like that.
And what that means is that no matter how big we want to be, we can't be big from a single moment if the lifestyle we got is what people would be small.
Yeah.
But it's through the rhythm of what we consider to be small, and it's through the routine of what we consider to be small. Those are the things that train us for the big moments. Mm-hmm. The truth is, we mishandle moments. We mishandle moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go a little bit into that mishandle moments.
So one, I want to say, for those of you listening, there isn't a moment in life that's truly ours.
Yeah.
Every moment is God given, whether we call it big or small. And if we start with every moment is God given, we wouldn't consider a moment small at all, because everything that God does is great. And because we characterize moments, we pick and choose how much of ourselves to give to a moment. But if we go with the God set mind, we're saying, okay, God gave it this moment. No matter if the task is big or small, we're going to give it our all and give it our best foot forward. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes us to be great people. And so what we have to learn how to do is we have to handle every moment like we're doing it for God. He's the purpose. And so that's why I said we have to know what our target is. We have to know where we're aiming at. And so I say we mishandle moments because sometimes when we're getting a small thing to do, we won't go at it with everything in us because we have this characterization in our mind that, hey, this is something small, you don't deserve all of me. But what we realize is that, or what we have to realize is that when you don't give something your all, there's someone who's watching you or someone who needs your service that we are shortcutting because we're holding ourselves back. Okay, perfect example. If a stranger on the street tell me, "Hey, I need you to come and pass out some flyers," we may or may not show up, and we may pass out flyers, but we're not going to do it with any kind of. Since we're just going to go out there and pass out flyers. All right, if Barack Obama was coming to town, he says, "Hey, I need you to pass out some flyers." We're not just going to pass out flyers. We're going to make sure people are there. We're going to make sure we're doing our best first because of the person who gave us their phone call, have called and told us to pass out these flyers.
Yeah.
So what we have to realize is that as we go through life, everything we're doing is aligning us for the call that God has placed on our life. And we need to do it to each other as we're doing it for God himself.
See, people don't think like that, though.
I haven't always thought like that. It took some trial and error. And it took some me going through life with unclarity, trying to figure out, okay, why am I here?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? And we have to realize that in life, everything we go through, God is using that moment to prepare us. So you can't mishandle the moment. What I'm learning about God, I'm just 35 years old. What I'm learning about God is that when we mishandle a moment, all God is going to do is represent the moment in a different way because he's still got to prepare you. So Isaiah 60:22 says that at the right time, God will make it happen. It's a timing thing. Life is all about timing. At the right time, God will make it happen. Some translations say it like this: at God's appointed time, He'll make it happen. So there's a point in our life that God is going to make some things happen. But when He wants to make it happen, depends on where we are.
So there's no such thing as wasted time.
There's no such thing as wasted time. It's appointed time.
Okay.
It's appointed time. But the only way we can waste out now, that wasted time is twofold. There's no such thing as wasted time with God. You're gonna get to where He wants you to go, because He's gonna start you over, and He'll let you do it your own way till you get tired. Till you say, "Okay, God, I've tried enough. My hands are lifted up. I'm gonna do it your way." Okay. Now we can delay some things and just go in circles. Like the Israelites went in circles for 40 years.
Man.
So we wait some things and go into circles for a little while.
Till they realize they're gonna listen to Him.
So God, He's got a free will. So He'll let us, wonder until we figure it out, okay, God, I need to do it your way. But what we have to realize is that God knows where we're going to end up. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to get from point A to point Z. And God said, okay, I know you want to get to point Z, but I can't give you this next appointed time until you get to the next point. So when you show me you are ready to go from A to B, then I begin to give you glimpses of C and prepare you to get there. But the only thing we want to do is get to Z. And God says there are no shortcuts to being the person I've called you to be.
Yep.
There are no shortcuts to living out this call. There are no shortcuts. You can't skip over people and expect to get to this place, because what God wants us to understand the most, if you don't listen to anything else I say today, what God, you got to understand this about God. God is not concerned about the things that we call celebration. God is concerned about our character. God don't want us comfortable. God wants us to have good character. And it's in these moments of life, these small moments, that God uses these things to develop our character. David get in on this. David was a shepherd in the field, but it was through David learning how to take care of sheep that David learned how to take care of people. Mm-hmm. So without David's sheep days, he would have never made it to the throne. And because of what he learned how to do out there in the field, he knew how to act on the throne.
Some small moments prepare them for the big.
The small moments prepare us. It's those small things that prepare us.
They always say start with like humble beginnings. Like when you get that hoopty, mm-hmm. and you always driving the car and like it break down on you, and there'll be the days where you just don't want it no more, but you fix it up, you ride in, then one day you get them new keys handed to you, and then it's like it's a roller coaster of emotions, because you remember how you started, and you remember the long days. You remember that some days you couldn't even make it to where you was trying to get to. Yeah. But now you got something that's a little more reliable, a little more stable, and you just stayed through it, whether that was 3 months to a year. But it be those small moments like that help build people, like this character development. Yeah. And I remember this quote my pastor said one day at a sermon back at home. He was like, if people don't, God noticed that some people don't, if they don't want to be with Him, if they don't want, if I forgot, it was like, it's in my phone, but it was like, if people act like they don't need God, let them live. Yeah, they'll come back eventually. Yeah, they'll come back every time. And so it's kind of like going to the gym. And we see people who put the 245s on each side or the 345s on each side. Yeah. They go out there and they lift and they kill it. They got it. I put my 225s on there. I'm rolling. They didn't start there. And we always reach, and we do a lot of reaching. We reach for these big moments. But what we have to understand is that big moments will hurt us if we show up there prematurely. Oh yeah. They'll hurt us. And anytime you get hurt, it sets you back. Big moments will hurt you if you show up there prematurely. Mm-hmm. So if you go to the gym and you try to bench press 225 and you've never been able to bench press 100 or 80 pounds, you're going to hurt yourself. And so we have to learn how to stay where we are and grow through those things and learn about growing pains. Betty Wright said, no pain, no gain. Go through these growing pains and continue to build to the place we get there. And we can't be afraid of hard work. And that's what we're missing. Going back to where we started this conversation, through the social media platforms, through what we're seeing, we see our celebrities, when you see where they are now, we don't know how they had to sweat and sacrifice to get there. Be away from family. We got to be away from family.
You have to go and study for hours. You're giving yourself to everything. There are some moments in your friend's life that you just may have to miss. It's a lot of things that go into becoming the person that you want to be. And so we have to realize that, wait, is this really the life that I want?
Sometimes it's not the life you want, it's the life you have to live.
Yeah. And we have to realize that there's a season in life for everything. So this is what Solomon says in Ecclesiastes chapter 3. So every time there's a season to born, there's a season to die. It's a season to plant and a season to harvest. And so there's a season for everything. And so we always, like, it kills me with some of the prosperity gospel. I believe in prosperity because God's going to let our ways prosper as long as we do it his way. But it frustrates me when people try to twist prosperity gospel, and when people say that next year gonna be my year.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean? For the last 365 days, it wasn't your year. It was your year
for the past 30.
Now it may have just been a year where you're supposed to plant, and you never see the results as soon as you plant the seed. You got to plant the seed in the ground, and then after the seed has been placed in the ground, it goes through a series of steps and a series of stages. Then we begin to see fruit. But we have to learn that great things are developed in the dark, and God does not give us dark times to destroy us. God gives us dark time to develop us.
But when the lights out and you can't see, that's when everything gets scary.
Yeah, everybody wants lights.
Everybody want to be able to see. Yeah. It's like when I was a kid and when my mom had us, like, she separated me and my little brother and put us in our own rooms.
Yeah.
And she like, turn the lights off. You're not gonna pay this high light bill, and all the lights off. Turn the TV off. It's scary. You can't see. You feel like things are coming at you. You don't know where they're coming from, and it's like for us, when things ain't going our way, you don't know when it's coming. You get anxious. You tense up. You don't know what's coming, when the next unexpected thing might come around, or when the light is coming, when that direction is coming back. And you feel like there's no direction, but that's why you have to get a feel for the things that are around you that are already there, like the resources.
Yeah.
Because when plants are under the ground and they slowly growing the roots, the foundation is growing first.
That's right.
So before you sprout up, first God is gonna give you a firm foundation to stand on.
So everything great is developing in the dark.
Yeah.
So he talked about the seed in the ground. That's developing in the dark. Before we got these fancy iPhone, I think we have 15 now. iPhone 15. I hope you have an iPhone, not an Android. Shout out to Apple. But they develop pictures in a dark room. They had to go in a dark room. Babies are born not born, but they're developing in a woman's womb. It's dark inside of there. So all these things place us in the dark, and we are afraid of the dark because we don't understand the dark. When we go through a dark season in life or something we consider to be dark, it's not a time to see. It's a time to listen. You navigate through a dark area not because you can see things, but because you can hear things. So anytime you're going through a season that you consider dark, you go with what you already know, all right? And then you go with what you can hear. God gives us dark situations because he teaches us to hear his voice. And that's how we guide it back to the light.
I think one more thing I want to say, I just thought about it. I remember me and my grandma was talking about this. And I said, Mama, a lot of people scared to die. And I was like, not in a real sense of like taking yourself out from the world, but like starting over. And like letting God just walk with you, and actually put that faith.
Yeah.
And the more I think about it now, the more I realize that why people sometimes want to reach for the instant, like the instant result, and so they can have a celebration. Because nobody wants to start over and like let God have control.
That's right. It's a control thing. We all control freaks.
And it's easy for us to say, I want to go this way. I know how I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
And it's like, you try it and it don't work.
Yeah.
And then you keep going and keep trying. You make up excuses like, I know I ain't get there. And you start trying to make excuses based off other people's decisions on what they knew was best for you. But they just knew it wasn't the right timing, like you said. And they knew you probably should have waited a little longer.
Yeah.
Like nobody told you to run to the car dealership and get that nice car. You know, you had the money, but you couldn't afford the payments.
Yeah.
And now you backed up and now they repoed your car. Like you sometimes got to know when to bend, just when to fold. and just sometimes live below your means, even if
Yeah.
you got enough. But those humble beginnings, like we keep going back to and talking about, are what's going to propel you to where you can get the fruit of your labor.
That's
Once you
right.
start investing in yourself and realizing the value of what God is trying to instill in you.
Yeah.
But until you start to believe and see his vision that he has for you and not others' visions or what you believe, because we can't,
That's good.
because as humans, we are naturally self-centered. And I can always, like, we get in, I know for me, even as humble as I can be, like I have my moments where I just catch myself and like I forget my mindfulness that I have for the people, the world around me. I just like close it in. I'll be like, okay, it's just me now for like a few minutes, and then something happen, and then I could be like, oh no, I ain't doing that again.
Yeah.
And I come back and I open my doors back up. Cause it just take one time for sometimes God to be like, hold on now. I just slow down. Like it's okay to enjoy yourself, but you gotta remember what we're doing. Like
Yeah.
I'm with you I'm with you still. Like don't sever the connection yet. Don't sever it all. Just stay with me, walk with me, and I'm gonna get you to where you're gonna go. And then we're gonna go to something even bigger.
That's good. That's good, man. Yes, sir. And then I think and the other thing is that, and this is what we have to realize: no matter how great we become, we're not that good. We're not that good. And Isaiah gets in on this again. He tells us that our thoughts are not God's thoughts, and our ways are not God's ways. We are limited individuals.
Yeah,
we're limited, and we have to keep that in mind, because it's that focus that helps us to realize that we need God for every moment in life. And if we learn how to keep God first, making priority, like Matthew 6:33 tells us, we begin to see life work differently, not because we couldn't do it before, but now we're learning that, hey, I need God to get through every season of life.
because every season is a different test. It's a
Yeah.
different trial.
Yeah.
It's a different transition that causes you to change.
Yeah.
And you need God to walk you through those transitions, because those changes can be very uncomfortable and you don't know how to deal with
That's
it.
it. That's it. That's it.
Because I remember last year when I got rebaptized going into my 20th birthday. That morning, and the lady told me the day before, she was like, the devil gonna try to keep you from going into your next phase of your life. And I mean, it went in one ear and went out the other, because I was like, no, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna make it. Ain't nobody stopping me. That next day, I got up and I turned around, looked at my bed. I was like, don't look too bad to lay back down real quick, just rest for a few minutes. And like I felt just like the pull, the tension. It was like I was feeling myself trying to go through a portal that wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it was hard. It was like I was just buffering and buffering and buffering and buffering until I just went through.
Yeah.
And then it was like I felt reinvented again. And I was like, nah, she wasn't playing. Like somebody was really pulling on me to keep me from going.
Life is a fight, man. You have to fight to get what you want. Like this for anything. Like you have to fight. You have to literally like fight. And some of this fight, sometimes the fight is mental. Sometimes it's spiritual. Ephesians 6 getting on the spiritual warfare. But sometimes the fight is physical. But we have to fight to get to the places and the spaces that we want to get to in life. But we have to realize that we don't fight alone. We have a God who's right there, who's protecting us, and who will fight for us. Yeah, he'll fight for us. The battle is not yours, said the Lord. He'll fight for us.
Yeah, because I don't, anything I go through now, and I think that's probably like why my life now is like calm, it's a little more calmer. I used to try to figure it out for myself, or just like try to go down that road and just like just go down swinging. But now I just be like, no, well, I'm gonna leave it up to him. I'm gonna talk to him about it, and I'm gonna let him figure it out for me.
Yeah.
As long as he keep blessing me and I keep coming to him and just being open about things to him and conversating with him, things gonna get better. Or he might just use this experience as a lesson for me to learn and for others that's watching me to follow. So, because I know I'm never alone. I won't ever be alone, regardless, because he's installed a community around.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of times we forget what he already is implemented around us, because we feel like we need more. Sometimes that more is already what's there.
Yeah.
Whether that could be 2 people or 15 people. but he's definitely giving you the resources. You
Yeah.
just got to utilize them.
That's it. That's it, man. That's it. That's it. That's it. You see it right there. He's already giving you the resources. We just have to utilize them.
It take time though. Like
Yeah.
it does. I know for me, for sure, it took me a while to realize how much like me and my family were like intertwined and how much we need each other. Just being away from home for months at a time and like not going around them, and then some days it just hit me. I'd be like, wow,
Yeah.
I didn't realize how connected we was. How much like I need they needed me more than if we needed each other that bad. Like at
Yeah.
first, like when you just going to see them, you get used and comfortable to the routine. Like I'm gonna see them in a few weeks or so, be all
Yeah.
right. But then you don't see them for 2-3 months at a time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different life.
Yeah.
It's like you just ride and you just break down because you not there to celebrate those moments with them or to be there when things not going a certain way or they not there to celebrate you or things not you kind of down. You just want to be around. It just hits different. It kind of molds you as a person. Like you have to start then reaching out to the other communities or reaching out to them more in a different manner, just so to kind of bridge the gap.
Yeah. That's it. That's it.
It's
Talk more
definitely
about that bridging the gap.
it's a fight though. Like I know starting to actually like step into like the adult world, working and paying bills more. I wouldn't say it's hard, but it's just a little tedious, like doing math.
Yeah.
It's very tedious, like having to like keep tabs on what's coming up each month, and then like having to manage and be mindful of like my time, like knowing I have a family, I have friends, and then I have like a community. I have mentors. I have younger people in within the coach communities who look up to me, who want to reach out, who want to hang out with me. I have older people who want to reach out and talk to me, and then I have organizations that I'm a part of, and I'm a leader within those organizations.
Yeah.
And it's like I have to learn to like balance
Mm-hmm.
everything on top of still being me.
Yeah.
And I think the main thing out of all of that is making sure I'm just me.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm me, I can connect everything and I can make my way to everything. But it's not easy just because like you get drained sometimes. Like
Yeah.
I have family always gonna drain you because they want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Good, bad, and ugly. Especially like if they know for sure you just somebody that can listen and just soak up everything without letting it bother you sometimes. And then like if I work, I got to deal with customers, I have to deal with my staff, and I have to deal with management. Long periods of time of the day, all that is just it's taxing.
Yeah.
It's very taxing. Even though I can come in shining and glowing, I'm still might walk out just drained. I can feel it. My body just like my mental is on the decline. And then like sometimes I try to find that second wind so I can get that kick. But like bridging the gap with everything just comes with just praying.
Yeah.
Praying and meditating and just asking God to give me the strength. Or I'm gonna let you. I'm giving you the keys. You take over. You bring me home.
Yeah. Did y'all hear what he just said? He talked about a lot of stuff in the nutshell. I don't think he realized what he said. So he talked about first before he started dealing with the management piece. He talked about how God gives us a resource and we have everything that we need. So we got resources. And then he went into this whole at the end is balancing things. So we got resources and we know we need balancing with these resources. Then in the middle of those two things, the resource and the balancing, he talked about I got to manage all these things. Well, in the church where we call it stewardship, God calls us to be steward. Every resource that we have belongs to God. Every resource that we have belongs to God, and we are managers of these resources. And so God depends on us to be good managers, and we have to learn how to manage all these things here on earth. And as we continue to manage, if you look into the corporate world, you start off, you may manage one person on your team, then there's 2 or 3 people, and then you got different departments. Before you know it, you got different stores, you're traveling all over. We want to get to this end result, but God is saying, hey, I see what you want. I want to make you bigger, but I need you to know how to manage this first.
Yeah.
Not saying you can't do this, but you got to show me that you can manage this first. And so God wants us to manage ourselves. God wants us to manage what he gives us to protect other people. And he wants us to be good stewards.
And that's the thing is like being a steward of like your craft, being a steward to just your people. I think being a steward to your people it's probably a little difficult just because you're once you're trying to lead people, and sometimes not everybody wants to be led, and it's like that's the part you have to learn to manage is like refining and redirecting those who don't want to be steward, who don't want to be led, and learning that sometimes you have to not always cut ties and cut bridges, but just redirect where you are with those people.
That's right. You lead through love. You lead through love, and it's rule number one is we are stewardships and managers of God and His resources. People don't belong to us; they belong to God.
Yeah,
they belong to God. And that's going to help you now, because as people walk away or people go their separate ways, they belong to God. We can say, okay, God, you gave me a season with them. I've been able to help in this way. And as Matthew said, then you just dust your feet off and you keep going, you know? And that's what makes life a little hard, because every time God gets ready to take us to another level, it's like we lose more people.
Yeah.
We really do lose more people. It's part of the process. I don't really have the answers to that right now in life, but we lose people because everybody can't go to where God is going. And then God also knows that where you're going, your focus has to be different. And sometimes He has to remove some of those people. If not, you can't focus on the new people or new things if they're still around you.
I think it go back to what me and you had talked about that one day where I think you told me like though the people that once you elevate, sometimes people can't go with you and God's taking you up.
Yeah,
it's not because they're not ready. It's more so their focus or their understanding of the direction you're going. They're not their minds are not aligned with yours just yet.
That's right.
And it's a prayer that I say, and I kind of encourage everybody to kind of practice this prayer where you just ask God to realign those that are ready to come back in your life. Because sometimes whether that's a friendship, that's somebody you dated, or just any person that's not around, it's okay sometimes for y'all to depart.
Yeah.
Because sometimes my mom and dad always say, even like when they were dating or just people I was friends with, like sometimes it's okay for y'all to depart and take a break from each other. Because every now and then, sometimes the places they might be going, you can't go with them.
Yeah.
Because your focus or your understanding of things might be too ahead or might not be where they need it, and vice versa. And sometimes it's okay for y'all to just realign. That's why I say sometimes good thing just y'all to be parallel.
Yeah.
Just because sometimes that parallel, y'all Brit, it might just go, and then it connects.
Yeah.
So like I'm slowly understanding that, okay, like it's okay for me not to be, me and this person not to be talking right now.
Yeah.
Because sooner or later we might realign and start back talking and be cool again.
Yeah.
Or maybe the love we have is still there and it just might be from afar now.
Yeah.
But it's no bad blood.
It's no blood. It's no bad blood. And then we have to realize that we all belong to God. And we all have a different purpose in God. And sometimes within a season, God needs people to work together, be intertwined in each other's lives to fulfill that purpose. And then once that purpose is achieved, God has more purposes for us to fulfill. And sometimes we have to go our separate ways to do that. And sometimes God is saying, okay, I know what you had, but I need you to get by yourself. We are afraid not only of the dark, we are afraid of isolation. We are afraid of isolation. And sometimes God is saying that.
Y'all tour? Can y'all pause it? Can you pause it for me real quick then? Just pause it 1 second. All right, y'all. Sorry for the slight interruption, but we're back and we're gonna pick up where we had left off.
Yeah. And so basically we have all these different purposes to fulfill. And what we have to understand is that every purpose that God wants to fulfill in our life is to help someone else. So Jesus didn't just come to earth to die. I'm a preacher, so I'm gonna keep going back to the Bible. He didn't just come to earth to die, but he came to do that so we can have eternal life. It's a bigger picture. And so what we have to understand is that we're just one piece of the puzzle. And God is the author and finisher of faith. He knows this whole puzzle, the entire universe, and he's moving puzzle pieces around. And if it don't fit, he's not going to sit there and continue to let us jab each other. And God don't force anything. We force things. God don't force anything. But He's aligned things and he's designed people and places where things can have a natural fit. And if he sees where it's not fitting natural, he's gonna move some things around. He's gonna move it around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely moved around.
Yeah.
I don't know, doubt. I think I like everything that's been said. Just I guess from just listening to your mini sermon you gave me and everybody. And I hope everybody kind of takes what he's been saying overall is just walk with Christ and be open to walk with him in the challenges and trials and tribulations he puts us through. Because we can't turn every negative, we can't let every situation be, we can't take it as a bad thing.
That's right. That's right.
Like I remember when I heard of one of my Pastor Hawkins, it was a sermon or two ago. Peter's Rock, and he was like, you can't, every negative is a positive.
That's right.
You got to turn it into a positive. You got to see like the bad things that happen to you is not because you deserved it. Though, yes, you deserved it, but you got to think nobody's going to be going through what I'm going through because God sees something in me that I don't see in myself. And he sees the potential and he's seen certain traits about me that are different and probably better. And you kind of got to have a little confidence about the things you're going through, because I was talking to a lady about this yesterday. I was like, we're only confident about things when we are sure about them.
Yeah.
But when things are difficult and it's something new, it's different, we get uneasy and we start to tense up.
But why is it?
It's because we don't have that same faith we had when we were doing the thing.
There are some things that requires a different level of faith. So like if we was to pick up a sofa, something bigger sofa requires a different level of strength. There are some things and some mountains that need to be moved that requires a different level of faith.
Yeah.
And God don't, so we can pray for patience. People say don't pray for patience. God don't give patience. He give us things to grow our patience. So God don't just give us faith, but he'll give us some issues in life and allow us to experience some things that'll help us grow and increase our faith. Yeah.
I definitely like that. And I think that I don't really have much to say no more. I really enjoyed and I like the conversation, but do you have any questions, anything you would like to ask me?
If you can, based on what the things we've just talked about and discussed, if you could have just one line sentence, just one line you want someone to have a takeaway with from this podcast they watched today, what would you want them to lead with?
One line. One line.
Just one tagline.
One tagline. If he won't do it, who will? I think as simple, and it's like as simple as that is, it has a lot of meaning. If he won't do it, who will? It's like if you don't go to God for whatever it is, whether that's because a lot of times we like to go to him when things are going only bad.
Yeah.
But go to him when things are going good.
That's right.
Because when things are going good, that's really when you need to rejoice and meditate and praise and show humility. Because if you're just going to him when things ain't going your way, or you think things just like you just feel like everything is just against you, he gonna be there. But it's like the moment you get out that simple rut and you start to be like, oh yeah, you start to believe then because you got out something bad. You should be believing when the things were going good before the bad came.
Yeah.
And you can't expect him to be there. I always say this, like, you can't mistake God's hand for a foot. He won't, because if you do, he's gonna give you the boot.
Yeah.
Not saying literally, but he's going to just remove himself. He gonna take some of his privileges that he gave you off of you. And now you're really gonna have to earn his trust again.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to regain that bond. Because just like any relationship, his relationship is just the same. You can't just treat him as ATM machine. Because he's
want to make withdrawals.
Yeah, like he's 24 hours, but you can't just think he's gonna always have unlimited money for you to keep pulling. Because at some point he gonna run dry too.
Yeah.
But it's not because he don't got it, but it's that he's not going to keep giving it to you if you're not going to appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I want people to take and understand when I say, if nobody else going to do it, who will?
Who will? That's good. That's good, man. Good. Y'all listening to this?
I don't think they gonna be. I don't think they listening. But for those that are listening, please, like, I'm not a very spiritual person myself, but my faith with God is there. Like he done took me there. I will say that he took me there. He done sat me down. He pulled me back to a place where it all started. And I was just talking about somebody me and Tyrone was talking about that. I said the hard part about starting growing with God or just growing as a leader is knowing that sometimes you got to go back to where you came from.
You got to go back to where we came from. It's good.
And even when you think you're not supposed to go back at that point in time, that's when you need to go back the most. At some point, I thought I wasn't ready to go home. She took me 200 plus back miles down to the coast for 3 months, rain of the summer. The hardest time of my life, just sitting there, can't do nothing, still, same routine every day, being around people who I know I don't want to be around. And it was like, for probably a week or two, I was like I was questioning myself. I was like, I don't want to be here. Why did I come back?
Yeah.
I thought things were going good for me up here.
Mm-hmm.
But once I kind of leveled myself back out and I started talking to God, I realized the patience level the tolerance he was implementing in me to be able to say, yeah, I know you don't want to be here, but you need to understand that you being here is what's going to mold you back to who I had you.
That's right.
How I had you at first. And now we can start this process. We can keep going through the process again.
If you can't grow through it, you don't want it.
Yeah. And now each season I go through in life, it's like a different harvest. Because at first I didn't understand what a harvest was until somebody broke it down to me that it's more it's just, I think it's a season or time where like you just help me out there on a harvest.
It's where you reap what you sow.
Yeah. It's like when you give or you receive.
Yeah. So the planting is where you put the work in.
Yeah.
It's where you watering the seed, you're trimming this, you're trimming the plants, you're making sure you protect it from all the pesticides and things that add up. And when you harvest, this is where you're seeing this plant of the seed grow to a vine or a tree. And now you can see the results and you're able to reap from. You can take away from something that you've grown. So you receive it. So we used to harvest a pear orchard. The tree is there, and sometimes you may see green leaves but not fruit.
Yeah.
And then the pears begin to grow, so now we can collect these pears from the tree. So now we're reaping the harvest of the hard work we put into it. And that's what we got to get into life, where we can't just want the harvest, but we got to be willing to put in the work to get the harvest.
And like sometimes you have small harvests too.
Yeah, that's right.
Like you said, you see the growth.
Yeah,
but it's not ready yet.
Yeah, and they can help us end on this note. We say, if he won't, he will. And since we know that if he won't, he will, we got to learn how to celebrate every moment. Yeah. So celebrate every stage of the harvest. Celebrate when you see that first bud on the ground. Celebrate when you begin to see that stem. Celebrate when you see that large tree, the many branches. Celebrate every moment.
I like that.
What are you thinking now?
I like that. I'm thinking because you make me think about all the small things that I went through. That like, it's moments where, like, I seen the growth. I guess I'm more so thinking about my pod and my content and everything. Where it started, where I was recording out of the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then the first time I recorded in the bathroom, audio just doing straight audio with my phone in my mouth. And then I start transferring to video on my computer. And like, but throughout all these little phases to where now I'm on my phone and people can see me and you can feel me even more. And it's a clearer view, just the small stages of where it is, but I know where I want it to go.
That's right.
But I seen the growth, not just the growth, but I seen how the impact of each phase had on people.
That's right.
Like even I'm recording though from my phone on audio, people were still feeling. They still felt moved and impacted just from hearing me through the headphones. But now they seeing me, and they seeing my face, they seeing my expressions, they hearing the tone of my voice and the emotion coming out and it's being expressed. Now it's like it's like a more deeper connection.
That's right.
And then it's like now I'm bringing people on. People now want to really pay attention because now it's like, what does this person have to say what is he gonna say, and what is that? What is it that the guests want to know from him, and how can we as an audience collectively gain from this?
Yeah.
So like it's giving me a whole different. It's just coming full circle now for me because I'm seeing how all the work or the days where sometimes I kind of looked at it, I doubted sometimes the things I did and wondered like, am I doing what I'm doing is even for a good cause? But then I had to go back, remind myself like, if I don't do it, who's gonna do it?
Yeah.
If I don't say it, who's gonna say it?
That's right. That's right.
So
That's right.
it re-drives me more to be like, okay, let's dig deep more. Let's start thinking. Let's start expanding more of my knowledge. Like I can't just keep just going off of women thinking things gonna work in some way. We got to come with a little direction, a little intention.
That's right. And then we have to realize this: God uses people to bless the world, and if there's a problem in the world, we have to stop looking for answer and realize that you are the answer.
Yep.
Like that thing that irritates you the most, it irritates you because God has put something in you to fix it. So as we continue to talk about purpose and timing and harvesting, remember that you are the answer, and you just gotta get there and do something about it.
I think that's the mic drop right there.
Yeah.
That's the mic drop.
Yeah.
That's the mic drop, Dav. That is, you are the answer.
You are the answer.
You are the answer. Yeah. You definitely done left my mind thinking. And I hope everybody else's mind is thinking. I hope y'all journals and notebooks are filled up because we dropped a lot of stuff. I don't even think my mind can even handle what was being everywhere. I'm still thinking. But as always, y'all, Davenport, I appreciate you coming out.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. Thank y'all for tuning in.
And as always, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share. Don't be stingy with this because I promise you somebody gonna need this. Like if I have to hunt the people down, my fans for gatekeeping, I'm let me get y'all. But as always, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. And if you new, like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell, and comment y'all viewpoints, what you like, and always what you don't like about the episode, what things you feel like could be better, what topics you look forward to. And if y'all know a guest out there you feel like y'all want to see here next to me on the next episode, just let me know, and I'll reach out to them. But as always, I love y'all. Peace. Oh, I'm gonna hit the pause button on it. Whew. That was good, Dale.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.